Good evening. Welcome to the Process Live Roundtable. I'm Mark Smith, and hopefully each one of you had a phenomenal 4th of July. I know. Thank you guys for everybody sent the text messages and the addresses to the barbecue. I really appreciate it. It was all good. We all had a great time. So we have started to develop a path, and I think, as you can see within this path that we're developing, we are teaching different things at different times. And what do I mean by that? I mean, it's important that we share a lot of teachings and a lot of things that are really going to help us better. You know, fact of the matter is we don't share. We are actually selfish individuals, and that's not who we're truly called to be. So we don't continue to hold things close to the vest. It's about two things that I always say. There's reasons or there's results. And both of them are going to come to play with everything that we do in life. But I'm not going to stay too heavy in reasons and results. That's going to be in one of my podcast messages that'll be coming up soon. I've got a phenomenal show tonight. We're going to talk about something that hits all of us and multiple times, not just once, not just twice, but multiple times. And I believe it's truly for a reason. And we'll get into that reason here shortly. Two great guests. It's Buckeye Wednesday. I've got two people right there in the state of Ohio that are coming right at us, my hometown. And we're going to talk about some things that are key tonight. So without any further ado, we're going to go ahead and get this party started. Here we go. Again, welcome back to the Process Roundtable. I'm Mark Smith. If you have not had opportunity to listen to any of these, remember, you can always go back on YouTube and take a listen to them. But again, to get a clearer message of what I've been talking about, please don't hesitate. View my podcast. I have my information out there. The Process, Mark Smith. You can find that on iHeartRadio. You can find that on Anchor, Spotify, as well as I'm up on TuneIn right now. The first guest that I'm going to, friend, I will remember we eliminated guests. The first friend that I have that's going to be joining me tonight, he and I met 47. Then we talked about that the other day. 47 years of history. A lot of rivalry inside of both of us, but again, it's all in good fun, and we always have a great time when we get together. He's right there in the Buckeye State, Columbus, Ohio. Fernandez. Fred, are you out there?
Can you hear me, Brother Smith? How you doing, brother?
There we go. We have another young lady that's with us. She's having a little bit of technical difficulties, but she'll probably be popping in with us again in a few moments, Miss Stephanie Chambers. So I'm going to get started with Fred. While we see if we can iron out some things. Fred, do you hear me?
You was freezing a little bit on me, Brother Smith.
Okay. There we go.
Okay, I got you now.
Can you hear me?
I hear you now, Brother Smith.
All right, beautiful. All right, good. Tell our listeners a little bit about you.
Well, I'm from the Buckeye State. Grew up here in Columbus, Ohio, side of the town named Southfield. We call ourselves Southfield for life. Stayed in the Buckeye State, went to Ohio State University, ended up joining a fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi fraternity. Our chapter is called Zeta. I'm presently a member of the Columbus Alumni Chapter, and went to Ohio State, graduated, did some corporate work with AT&T, Lucent Technologies, and then I shuffled over from management to running my self-employed for as real estate agent. Been doing that for the last 20 years, and still enjoying my Buckeyes. We're gonna be making noise, and I like beating Michigan.
Anyway, thank you. But we got Stephanie Chambers with us. Stephanie, thank you. But looks like we got everything ironed out. Tell our listeners a little bit about you before we get started tonight.
Well, I am also as well a Buckeye fan. I'm Buckeyes for life. Buckeye Nation, go Bucks. I graduated from the Ohio State University, and fun fact, I was watching Jeopardy yesterday, and Ohio State was one of the final Jeopardy questions, and it was really exciting to see, the best college in the land and the best band in the land being represented. I graduated in Human Development and Family Sciences, and also Fashion and Retail Studies. And I use that to help people realize their worth and self-esteem, and as well as looking beautiful and handsome at the same time.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, both of you, for those introductions. I'm going to jump right into it tonight because, again, we got an impactful show that I know is going to change people's lives. And for those that are listening out there as well, please, we want your participation. Again, if you have some questions, dial in, because again, we want to be able to answer those questions. This is a fully interactive show that we put on here with the Process Live. So the first topic, I'm going to start with you, Stephanie, first. Okay. I've chronicled and I talked about my series, The Process. And the process means different things to so many different people. And in your own words, can you define the process and what it means in relationship to your life?
Yes, Mark. And I just think what you're doing is just a phenomenal job and a work from God. And, we really need more of what you're doing. So I applaud you, and I'm so happy to be a part of this with you, this process with you. I just think that the process for me is basically, it's an always evolution. It's a change. We go through different things in our lives, and a lot of times those are things that test our fortitude, and we have to go through a process in order to see how we can remain victors in life. And you're going to go through the ups and downs, but that process, that peeling back the layers and going through change, if you're not willing to accept and embrace change in your life, then it causes you to be stagnant, and that causes a regression. So I want to go through with the process that is necessary for me to better myself as a human being and to also help each other.
Thank you. Thank you. In roundtable format, Fred, you're up next. In your own words, define what the process means in relationship to your life.
Well, process to me is, I'm goal oriented. That's the way I can kind of set the bar and try to get myself motivated. And I'll sum all of that up far as goals is to make it smart. Make your goals smart. And I'll break down every one of those. Your goals, make them specific. Should make your goals specific so you can follow them. The other thing, the M, is measurable, where you can measure it. Then you want to set a goal that's attainable. Make sure it's attainable. You can reach it. And then make it reasonable. And last, make it traceable. So you set your goals, and that be part of your process, where you start off and you can follow it during the whole process, and hopefully you can obtain what you're trying to shoot for.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for you two getting us started. For me, again, this is something I hold dear because every day I strive to get better. I try to be better tomorrow than I was today. And I've always said before that, knowledge speaks, but wisdom listens. So if you evolve yourself in a process, you are going through an evolutionary phase to where you are actually beginning to speak, but then you get to that point to where you listen. So the process is learning. It's a journey, a long, 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 long. We only got an hour, so I can't say how many longs that is, but it's a journey. It is truly a journey, a manifestation to get you to where you need to go. Will you have hiccups? Absolutely. We all are going to have hiccups, but it's what you make of those hiccups, which transcends me right to our topic for tonight. The word storms has different meanings as well to different individuals. Some people say, I know here in Maryland, it poured down raining earlier today. I was out running a few errands and got drenched, but that's okay. My hair didn't get messed up. I'm good. But storms to me stands for surviving trials and obstacles to remain motivated. Surviving trials and obstacles to remain motivated. I want to take a moment and break this down for us tonight and for all of our listeners tonight, because it's important that we be able to share. So I'm going to ask each of you to take 3 of those words one at a time, and let's dialogue about them. Which of these words are instrumental in your personal growth? I'm going to start with you first, Fred. What would be your first word and why?
I'll say the first word, I would look at surviving. And when I look at surviving is like growth. And a lot of time when you growth is a journey. You got to look at it as a journey. It's not a destination, because you keep growing and growing and growing year by year. No matter how old you are, you still got growth. So I look at surviving as like growth is a journey, not a destination, just different obstacles.
How about you, Stephanie? What will be your first one?
Well, I had, I guess we, won't go in any particular order, but I had surviving. But since he talked about, Mr. Fernandez talked about surviving, I guess I can go with like the obstacles that we're all going to have obstacles in life. That's just a part of this world that we live in. And a lot of times the obstacles are not just for us to overcome, but for us to be able to use the experience and to learn from it so that we can help others. And I just feel like that with obstacles, no one wants to have them. No one wants to be, going through, the trials and the obstacles in life, but it's really inevitable. And the important thing is to just be prepared. And you have to be prepared in your heart and your mind and know that, this too shall pass. And you have to learn to be able to encourage yourself. We live in a world where we want things very immediate and fast and not have to pay our dues and reap the benefits and the rewards. Anything worth having, like my parents would say, you're going to have to fight for it. And so the obstacles will ensue in that, but you are going to be able to overcome them. But it starts with the mind and the heart, and that's where that fortitude will come in.
Thank you. For me, I would say that first one would be trials. You never know your strengths until your struggles. You never know how strong you are until you actually have your struggles. So every day potentially is a trial. When you wake up, you have an option. I use that word, that option or that choice to make it a great day, no matter what happens. No matter if you go out and you have a flat tire, it's still a trial, something that is testing to see how you are going to react. What are you going to do? Now, I just wrote something not too long ago that talked about attitude. And again, I talked about the importance of how we start our day. and what we do with those moments or those times of that day. Because I've often said that we got 86,400. That's the seconds in a day. That's what each one of us have. All of us have the same amount of time, and it doesn't matter it doesn't matter the time. It matters what we do with that time. So those trials that we actually are going to get are definitely learning experiences. These are opportunities for us to grow. And Fred, you mentioned something before. You said grow. You're absolutely right, man. You are absolutely right. You know, when you talk about surviving, it sets the stage for us to grow. It really does. And Stephanie, you talked about, your mindset and talking about different things that are out there. You talked about the different boulders. I like to say, are they pebbles? Or are they boulders? Because all we go through again is the mindset and what we decide to deal with. So I like to phrase them as pebbles in the obstacles way. It's not an obstacle; it's just a pebble that we got to work our way around. I want to come back to you now, Stephanie. You gave me, and it doesn't matter. We're allowed to pick the same ones because it's all about what it means to you, what it truly means to you. So, what would be your second one, and why?
All right. I had wrote some notes on this, and the one thing that helps me, and I know that I find when I talk to people, it helps other people. Going through different trials and tribulations and all that in the storm, I always think about, I refer back to, God and prayer and meditation. One of the things that I thought about was the scripture that says, be ye steadfast. And I'm looking at motivation. When in that scripture with motivation, being motivated, being steadfast and immovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as your labor is not in vain in the Lord. When you know that you're going to reap something good, that something good is going to come out of the storm. They always say trouble doesn't last always. That is something that where you're striving towards, you're pressing towards, that mark for that prize. And so I think it's very important to motivate yourself. And then when you do things for other people, that motivates you too. It makes you feel good, even in the midst of your storms, in the midst of your tears and your trials and tribulations and how you're going through it. When you go and help other people, it does something on the inside, and it empowers you and motivates you to say, you know what? I can do this. So can you. We're going to run this race together. And sure enough, that you can come out of it smelling like roses and saying, you know what? I went through that and this is what happened. And I was able to reap the benefits because I stayed with the race. Staying with that race and going through is not the strong or the swift that finish. It's those that endure to the end. So I have to use that for myself. So that helps me.
Thank you. Fred, what about you? What would be your second one?
I'm gonna stab at a couple. The one I'm gonna piggyback on what you were saying as far as trials, and that's so very true. You really don't know how strong you are until you really, really go through some things. When you hit your bottom and you pick yourself up, that's very, very strong. So you don't find out as strong as you are until you really go through something. So I really believe in trials. The other thing is, remain motivated. Remain motivated, because you always got to keep your eyes on the prize. If you get unfocused, you can really go the opposite direction. So, keep eyes on the prize. Stay motivated. Just like the situation for me, far as going into that gym. I like playing racquetball, but if I don't play racquetball, see something I like, I won't get in there. But if you stay motivated, get in there, then you start, doing other things. And before you know it, you get a good workout. And then you end up being a workout, end up being a beautiful day. But all it comes down to is being motivated. Get out, try, and keep on going.
Beautiful. One of the things that you said, I listen to Dr. Rick Rigsby sometimes, and Dr. Rigsby says, and I believe it because I've lived it, and he says rock bottom is a great foundation to build
Mm-hmm.
It's a great foundation to build on. And without holding that dear inside yourself, you know, it can help catapult you to the levels of which you truly need to go. So you're absolutely right. For me, I'm going to say remain. Patience was, and still is a true, I don't say a weakness, I say an area of opportunity, because I got to get better at it. And having the ability to remain steadfast, remain patient, remain hungry but humble is often a challenge. And I know that anybody that's listening, you know what I'm talking about, because again, unfortunately, we live in a society that wants instant gratification. I mean, Stephanie, you talked about that before, people wanting what they want when they want it. So being able to actually sit back and remain and trust that the process of what you're working on is going to get us to the results. But not only that, understanding that if it doesn't go the way you want to, it's okay. You learned something. You got something by remaining hungry but humble. You got something. You earned that wisdom piece from the knowledge from remaining. So you got something out of it. So to me, that's an issue that a lot of us have that we don't understand. I'm not going to say as we get older. I'm going to say as we get wiser. As we get wiser, we truly understand that it's about the smaller things that mean the most to us. It's not about actually winning the race so much. It's about participating and learning something and giving back to somebody. So again, thank you. One more. We got one more. So we're going to start with you, Fred. Of those 5 words, surviving trials and obstacles to remain motivated, what would be your last one? And again, those of you who are listening right now, we encourage your participation. Again, talk to us. Ask those questions of us of why we answer the questions the way we answer them. We would love to hear those.
I guess my last one, I'm going to go with remain. And I'm dealing with that a lot with having 3 grown kids, and I try to still with them. They're just impatient. They won't sit still. And like you said, they got everything today. They see far as in the parents have stuff, or maybe I can work from home, or maybe not work as hard, but they don't understand the groundwork that was laid to get me to this point at 50-something years old. But they feel that in your 20s, you should come right out of college and you should have everything. And you really don't have to, I ain't gonna say work hard, but it's just a microwave type of concept, and not be focused and just give it time. Take the good with the bad, but just hang in there and not give up so easy. So, that I can see that a lot happening today, or as the remain, being focused and being patient.
Thank you. So before we go to you, Stephanie, can you give us an example, Fred, of when you had to remain patient? I mean, we've talked a lot about the job situation that you had. I mean, when you were on my show on Star 107, we talked about that in detail. But can you give our audience, if you would, just an example of where you needed to remain where you needed to be during your storm?
Well, I ain't gonna go into too much of the personal as far as marriage. That's something else. I'm gonna leave that one alone. But only thing I can do, Mark, is put it. I mean, I can go back to school. You in there in grades, and it's a different animal. You got it being a young adult. You have a lot of stuff going on that pulls you outside of getting a college degree. Like fraternity, you get a lot of stuff going on, pulling away from, and you get unfocused on what you're supposed to go in there for 4 years or 5 and get up out of it and get that degree and then get on, with your career. So I think, I just had to kind of settle down and get focused, as a young adult, to get in there and get that college degree and get out of there. So that was a very important time for me. But just getting through college and then being able to pursue some of my dreams. But that was the groundwork to get me out here, and just some of the relationships that I built along the way, far as in that college life, it's kind of helped me, to new heights and relationship far as where I'm at today. But just hanging in there, not just giving up and falling out.
Well, that also is true. Your network is your net worth. So definitely.
Yes.
Absolutely. But
Yes.
Stephanie, your last one.
My last one, I'm just going to circle back around to the first letter, which is surviving. I feel like I really believe that people have what it takes to survive within them. They just don't know how to tap into it sometimes, but they have what it takes to survive. And I go back to one of the scriptures that says, so the last shall be first and the first shall be last. Many people, have different gifts, talents. Many people go through different degrees of challenges. And sometimes we can get a little distracted or a little disheartened because the person next to us may not be going through what we're going through, and they seem to have it so easy, or why am I going through this, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it, through this trouble, through this relationship, through the struggles and hard time. But when it says that the first shall be last and the last shall be first, that surviving it encourages me, because it's not always as it seems when you look at how others may not be going through what you're dealing with. Everybody has their trials. Everybody has their struggles, their obstacles that they go through, but everybody handles it in a different way. You just have to find within you. And with me, I go to prayer, talking to the Lord, talking to my siblings, and talking to close friends, whatever it takes to encourage you to survive, to get through. Sometimes you just need to just handle just one situation at a time. One situation. Once you get over that situation, then you go to the next one. And when I think about surviving, I think about like the beauty pageant. The first shall be last, the last shall be first. They call out maybe 4 or 5 women at one time. Nobody knows who's going to be the winner, right? The first one that's get called, she's thinking, okay, I got this. I was the first one called. That's not necessarily the case. So you never know. The way you start out in that race is how you finish it, as I said before. So that beauty contestant, she's beautiful by all counts. She was called out first, but it may be the one that was in the middle or the very last one that ends up taking the crown home. And apply that to your life. That's just metaphorically speaking. With pro athletes, you have some of those that, they make the cut, and they're the first one out of the draft. But sometimes the ones that are further down in the list on the draft, I've learned this from my brother Chris, watching, games and all that with them. They sometimes, something happens. And the ones that are further down in the draft, they end up being the ones that start. So it's never the way you may think it is. Don't go by looking at other people and getting dismayed. If you look at other people in other situations, let it be an encouragement instead of something that's going to cause you to withdraw and want to throw in the towel. Don't give up, because the very time that you give up, that might be the very day, that very hour that what you've been waiting for and going through that struggle for is going to happen.
They always say that those that have given up were so close to reaching their destiny. They've said that over and over and over again. And I like one of the things that you said. You said as people go through their situations, you didn't say problems. You said situations. Right. And I always encourage people that we don't have problems. We have situations. We're going to get through it through the right resources, as Fred talked about, through the right network of individuals who we can surround ourselves with to be effective and help weather this storm to get through, surviving trials and obstacles to remain motivated. My last one would be the M, which would be motivated. I'm the type of person that they say you keep a glass half full. No, my daggone glass is 3/4 of the way full. I'm gonna keep it 3/4 of the way full. I give a little half a glass of water, I need to go put some ice in it and I need to fill it back up because I'm in charge of helping somebody else get through it. Do I have my bad days? Absolutely. I have a wife that supports me. I have family and friends who I can lean on when I can say, "Hey, listen, I'm not feeling it today, man. This is not me today, or this show, or what I'm writing about. I need an idea. I need a thought that's going to kind of help provoke me to get up and erase some of those negativities or some of those things that'll keep me stagnant." And, somebody talked about, I believe it was you, Stephanie, was talking about growth before, people being stagnant. I say all the time, comfort is a casualty of growth. So I need to make sure that the motivation that I have, or the motivation that we are all called to give everybody, stays at 100%. We have to be able to, no matter what it may look like, no matter what these say, you still have to put your pants on. You still have to get to it because that's what you're called to do. And Fred, you talked about your 3 grown kids. Man, they see you. They've seen you stay motivated. They've seen you work extremely hard. I mean, we know a lot, So we're at that point to where I says the wisdom listens, because we're at that point right now to where we're really starting to grasp at that. But we couldn't have got that without being motivated. So thank all of you for sharing those as well. Recently, I started off the process season 4. So I'm into the 4th season of my podcast that's actually going as well. And the process, this topic, I felt was so ironic for what is going on and what we just came out of, right? We came out of what I call the perfect storm, and I wrote about it. And that was the pandemic. Now, we're not completely out the woods yet. We still have variants that are continuing to go on. We have people who still haven't taken the appropriate steps that they should have done as well. But again, that is ultimately a choice that individuals make. But for those of us who had nothing but time on our hands, because that's all we had was a lot of time, we had an opportunity to work on some personal development. And within that personal development, we had the opportunity to profess some things and get some things out there that we wanted to do. I proclaim 2021 to be legacy changing. I believe that us as individuals, we have the power to change and help rewrite history coming from a situation of history within the pandemic. And in this particular series 4, it's called Why Not Me? And I believe personally that I've paid my dues. I'm continuing to work on myself, but I'm continuing to strive and get better. I'm continuing to take the task to stand up and say, listen, I've worked hard. My wife deserves the best. My mother deserves the best. My mother-in-law deserves the best. My dogs and cats deserve the best. Everybody deserves the best that they can have in their life. So I wanted to ask you guys a question. Can you share, what is your personal suggestion if you could share with everyone, why not me? I'm going to start with you first, Stephanie. Why not you? Why not now?
For the why not me, why not now? I am going through different changes in life of doing things out of my comfort zone. And the why not me is like, I think, this isn't something that, I'm used to doing. I'm used to having things very controlled and, that fits into my nice little box or what have you. But sometimes there's things that come in your life and opportunities that come in your life, and there are blessings, and you're like, is this something that's for me? Okay, well, I've been, doing what I'm supposed to do, and I treat people right or whatever. You know what? Why not me? And I did a poem when I was growing up. It was called When Is It My Turn? And it's one of those things where I wrote about how people feel that when they do things, sometimes it's not returned or reciprocated in a certain way, um, or at all. And so when is it my turn is all the same as why not me? Why not me? Why not now? So with these songs that have come to me is why not me? Why not write songs and encourage people, because they encourage me? Why can't I do this? So I've got this going for me and people like it. So why not me? So my thing out of the why not me, don't push back on opportunities, don't push back on blessings even if you don't understand it. I am learning to fly by the seat of my pants because every moment of the day things are changing and I want to be on the right side of what is best for my life and the people that are around me, and that way we can spread it to others that we may not know. So embrace it. Why not you? Why not you? You deserve it. You've worked hard. You put the time in, enough tears. You know what? That rainbow is coming, right? And on the other side of that rainbow is the joy that you've been waiting for. The priceless part, the peace of mind, the happiness, but also the material part comes too with feeling good and doing things for yourself. Why not you? Why not me?
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Fred, what about you, my friend?
Why not me? Well, situation with me for over 50 years, I've been here in Columbus, Ohio, and I did some traveling, but not a lot, and I kind of stayed close to home. Never thought about um, relocating or everything, but so in the last 5 years, I've really put that into effect. Why not me? It's not so much thinking about everything here and everybody else. Thought about myself, and I've traveled a lot, and I love traveling. And anything going on, I got a bag packed at the door, and I'm gone, and I'm moving, and I move around a lot now. And I seen when I get back, people appreciate you more because you're gone, you know. So, so the travel part, and then also opening up more business and networking more, and just kind of living life and enjoying life to the fullest. And just kind of, it all comes together. I feel a lot better. You feel personally a lot better. People around you feel a lot better, and they like being around you more because you're positive, you're energetic. As they say, you bring a good vibe. So you try to love yourself, enjoy yourself, and everything else. It kind of comes together when you're taking care of yourself, and you're not so much worried. You're just at the end of the day enjoying, and yet bring out a good vibe, and people want to be involved with you, want to be around you.
Stephanie, we have a question. Somebody says, do you have a poem that you can read to us real quick?
I'm sorry, did you say what? I didn't hear you.
Somebody, we got a question or a comment. Somebody wants to know, can you say a poem?
Oh, a poem. I think they might have been talking about maybe my. I was talking about my songs, and I saw something about a poem or something. I have a few songs, but they're educational, inspirational, educational, hip hop songs and inspirational songs that people really really like. So hopefully they will go and find it on YouTube or iHeartRadio. But I would love to be able to say something at some point for them. So they can look me up if they like.
There we go. Beautiful. We're moving right along. So I'm going to because I know we talked about taking the bull by the horn and spontaneity, however we want to put it, thinking on our feet, right? Thinking on our feet. So I've got a question for you. I want to read a poem, and after I read a poem will become my question for us to dialogue for a few minutes. And I'm going to start the poem off with here. It says, some of you may have heard it, some of you may have not, and I've said it before on my show because I think it ties in to what we're talking about, why not me? It says, I'm your constant companion. I'm your greatest helper or your heaviest burden. I will push you onward or drag you down to failure. I'm completely at your command. Half of the things you do, you might as well turn over to me and I will do them quickly and correctly. I'm easily managed, but you must be firm with me. Show me exactly how you want something done, and after a few lessons, I will do them automatically. I am the servant of great people, and alas, the failures as well. Those who are great, I've made great. Those who are failures, I've made failures. I'm not a machine, though I work with the precision of a machine, plus the intelligence of a person. You may run me for profit, or you may run me for ruin. It makes me no difference. Take me, train me, be firm with me, and I will place the world at your feet. But if you be easy with me, I will destroy you. Who am I? I am habit. So my next topic or next question that I kind of want to ask and talk to everybody about for a few moments is that we've all had certain habits that were detrimental to us that we had to that prohibit us at one point from getting to where we need to go. Is there any one habit that you feel has prohibited you from being the best you possible? And if so, what would that be? And Steph, I'm gonna start with you.
Mm, I would say that I have to work on overthinking things. I am very detail oriented. And like I mentioned before, sometimes it's, you know, just something just is simple instead of me, dissecting things and trying to make sure all the T's are crossed and I's are dotted all the time when they're already done, but just to make sure I'm that one that goes back and checks the iron after I've checked it again. So I have to I have to work on overthinking because some things are just simple. They're just matter of fact. There is not any big, you know, production or anything, the subterfuge underneath covert that I need to understand. So overthinking, I'm working on that. I'm and it's a process, and I'm doing better about it. And I didn't know I did it until my close, like, family and friends, they, like, Steph, no, it's okay, it's already done. Okay, are you sure? Maybe we need to make sure. No, okay, all right, okay, well then we're good to go. So it gives me like a little bit of freedom now,
Mm,
and it causes less stress. So I'm like, you know what? They sit back and smell the roses and enjoy themselves. Here I am thinking about what fires to put out, and everybody's just like, let's just go have fun. And it is a good feeling. So I'm liking it. So I'm going to, you know, kind of hang that coat up of overthinking, when I don't need to.
perfect. What about you, Fred? Is it
I
a
would,
habit for you that you needed
yeah,
to overcome?
yeah. One thing I would probably say, probably friends and family, as far as being an enabler. Um, just too much love. Overstepping. Sometimes I let people think for themselves, and you can't solve everyone's problems.
Mhm.
There is a balance there. Sometimes you gotta fall back a little bit and let them learn for themselves. And I've learned some stuff with the same thing with my kids. It's different parenting. When they kids, there's one way of parenting. When they come adult, that's another parent. So just having that trade off, far as friends and family, far as love, how overstepping your boundaries and maybe stay in there and kind of staying engaged, but just maneuvering that.
Mhm. Beautiful. For me, I'm going to say it's a simple word that starts with a Y and ends with an S, and that was saying yes. Saying yes to almost to so many things that individuals wanted from me or asked of me, and whether that was family, whether that was kids, whether that was friends, whether that was work, whether it didn't matter. It became the point to where I would um, feel obligated to say yes to get it done because again I wanted to be the team player, but I quickly realized as I've gone through, and again I call COVID, God, please, bless the families of individuals who lost family and friends over this horrific situation and pandemic. But COVID taught me a lot. It was, I believe you have defining moments in your life. You always do. Whether you recognize them or accept them, that's a different thing. But this taught me a lot. It taught me that, one, I've got a real best friend that lives right in the same household as me, that I don't need to deal with anybody else, my wife. It taught me that saying no is okay, because you need to take care of you. At the end of the day, nobody is going to be there for you, Mark. You were born alone, you're going to die alone. So you need to take care of you and figure out what is important to you to help you and your family and everyone prosper within you. So if you're not happy within yourself, guess what? Then you're not going to be successful in anything that you do. So definitely saying yes was something that was terrible. It's totally terrible for me. That, again, I'm quick to tell you no now. No. And we won't think two things about it. So, quick question, one last question, before we get ready to wrap it up. I'm gonna start with you first, Fred. I'm trying to get you in this mix real quick. We've been talking about storms, right? And if you could give anyone listening one single word to hold on to as they go through their storms, what would that word be? And why did you choose that word?
Simple for me is prayer. Prayer. I mean, nothing's perfect. We all go through what you're saying. The whole concept here is storm. We all got storms. And sometimes all you can do is sit and pray and let the man above sort you through it. Prayer.
Amen.
Mm-hmm. Stephanie, before you answer your question, somebody asked a question earlier that I overlooked. So I want to ask you real quickly before you answer that question. Does your overthinking lead to worrying?
It can lead to worrying. Sometimes it can lead to worrying about something that it really doesn't warrant it. It is not really there. So if I do it, like, and just overthinking, like, okay, let me make sure, then that opens up other things that will cause me to, delay the process of what's going on at that time. So the overthinking will lead to worrying and, looking at things in a different way that may not be there, or maybe borrowing trouble, so to speak, as far as do I need to do this when it's already done? So I have done so much better about doing that, because I like to have everything in order. But now I'm learning to, you know what? I'm going to sit back and just, let things kind of like work its way, out. Sometimes it's just better to, like, there's a scripture that says, just stand and see the salvation of the Lord. So I'm just going to keep myself at peace and just stand and let God work it out. And sometimes situations work out on their own. Sometimes I don't need to be in there to try to help it. I don't need to tell God, oh, you know how you need to do this. I don't think you understand it. No, he's got it. And sometimes situations just work out on their own. And it's just better to just stay back and just watch it unfold in your favor.
All right. So let me hit you with that last question. If you can give everyone listening one single word to hold on to as they go through their storm, what would that word be and why?
Gosh, there's so many good words out there. I am going to have to say, I liked what Fred was saying about prayer. That's very important. I love that. I would have to say faith, because a lot of the storms that we're dealing with is things that a number of it is things that are out of our control. That something happens and then you don't know what the end result's going to be. So when I say faith, I go back to that scripture, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So when we're going through these storms, we're we're hoping that we're going to make it out, and we will. But that faith is that encouragement to say, you know what, I believe that we're going to get over this obstacle, or we're going to get through this trial, we're going to get through this hard time, sweetheart, we're going to get over this. It's not going to always be like this, children. It's not going to always be like. So that's what faith, I think, will carry you through anything. My faith in God has carried me through storms, and I have been so grateful for that. So I would have to say faith.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate it. I want to take a moment and truly remind everybody of something as we talk about storms. And that's not all storms come to disrupt your life. Some come to clear your path. So it doesn't necessarily mean that because we're going through something, it's detrimental. There is a message. There's a true message that we are to harness and learn from. And once we learn that message, it's our job, it's our duty to share that with someone else. We are all called to share that message with everybody. So again, I just want you all to remember that it does not have to be detrimental. Sun is going to shine. There's no if, ands, or but. It is going to shine. So again, thank you very much. Fred, my main man, thank you so much, man, for your time tonight. I truly appreciate it.
No problem. I appreciate the invite.
No problem. Any words you want to give our friends before I get you out of here?
Hey, keep praying. Hey, sum it up. Keep praying, keep faith, and keep hope alive. Hey, we all in this together.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
Hey, like they say, team together, each accomplishes more. Team, I believe it.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Stephanie. What about you?
I will just ditto what Fred said. He said it so eloquently, and I just, and on top of that, have love for for people, even those that may have done something to hurt you. Love, because and that frees you, and that way, with that love and the hope and the faith, and the prayer, it's a win-win situation for you. So it's a powerful tool, and it gives you that freedom and peace of mind. And those are the true gems. Those are what's most important in life. The monetary things that comes and go, but if you have those fruits of the spirit and faith, hope, love, and having that is what's important. So faith, hope, love, powerful, gives you the peace and everything else.
That's what ladies and gentlemen, that's what I'm telling you. 2021 is legacy changing. Legacy changing. Thank you again, Fred Fernandez and Stephanie Chambers, for sharing some powerful words of wisdom tonight. I really appreciate you both.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you.
All right. I want to thank GoBlackInc.com and the production team for doing a phenomenal job. They always come here and set this at first class. So again, thank you. Special thank you to DibbleandDab.com for the wardrobe, graphics, and the merchandise that's coming out soon. So please keep looking for pre-orders about to start in a couple weeks, so stay tuned for that. Again, please take a moment and listen to The Process, not only on star107fm.com, but the podcast. They share a series of powerful messages that you can go and catch on Anchor. You can catch it on Spotify. You can catch it on iHeartRadio. Again, it's about us sharing a message. I'm going to close with something that I think is so powerful. And I alluded to it before. And I'm really going to kind of give you a tip of it, but I'm not going to give you the whole thing yet because it's going to be in a message that I'm going to give in a couple weeks. We are defined by reasons or results. Every day, we have an opportunity to make that change and do something different to impact everybody in our circle, not our cage, our circle. And what we do with that empowerment is truly on us. Do we take the mindset that I'm not feeling it today, or it's not my job, or I use the old adage, it's not my monkey, not my circus? Or do I sit back and say, okay, even though Mark, I may not be feeling 110% today, mentally, spiritually, or emotionally, it's my job to go ahead and affect some young men and some women, not only in the Baltimore area, in the DC area, where I'm primarily at, but nationwide. What am I truly called to do, and what is the message that I'm here to send? Am I going to create a reason, or am I going to be defined by the results that I hope bring? These two guests tonight are bringing results. They are truly bringing results from what they're talking about. Collectively, we all have the same mindset, and that is legacy. As I said, legacy changing in 2021. I'm going to close real quick with this story that I hope makes sense of all of this. See, there was a mother. She was wishing to encourage her son's progress in playing the piano. So she bought tickets to a performance by a great Polish pianist named Ignacy Paderewski. Now you try saying that name 3 times fast. When the evening arrived, they found their seats near the front of the concert hall and eyed the majestic Steinway waiting on stage. Soon, the mother found a friend, and they just start chit-chatting and talking, and the little boy slipped away. Well, at 8 o'clock, the lights in the auditorium began to dim, and the spotlights came on. And only there did she notice the boy was up on the piano bench, innocently picking Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. His mother grasped in shock and embarrassment. But before she could retrieve her son, the master himself appeared on stage and quickly moved to the keyboard. He whispered gently to the boy, "Don't quit, keep playing." Leaning over, Paderewski reached down with his left hand and began filling the bass part. Soon his right arm reached across to the other side and improvised a delicate, delightful obligato. Together, the old master and the young novice held the crowd mesmerized with their blended and beautiful music. What does this all mean? It means something simple. In our lives, we receive helping hands. Some we notice, some we don't. Equally, we ourselves have countless opportunities to provide helping hands. Sometimes we look like our assistance would be noticed. Sometimes we don't. Little of what we achieve in life is without learning from others and without the support of others. And what we receive and what we should hand out are two totally powerful, two different things. As we, all of us, continue to take extreme ownership, we are 100% responsible for 3 things: the thoughts we think, the thoughts we visualize, and the actions we take. I want you all to have a blessed and wonderful week. Thank you again. Always remember that you have the power to make that change. And when you get up and go to your next day, always remember that change begins and ends within. And look in that mirror and say, why not me? God bless each one of you. I will talk to you soon. Remember those podcasts on Anchor, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all of those. Take a listen to those. And not only that, share with somebody else who will definitely benefit for you. God bless you. I love each one, every one of you. Have a great night. I'll see you in a week.